Hey guys, this is Derek Wills with Lone Star Gun Rights, and welcome to our latest edition of Lone Star Gun Reviews. Today we're going to be checking out the new M&P 2.0 from Smith & Wesson, and we're going to be comparing it to the older models. Alright guys, so what I'm going to do first is I got 5 rounds in this magazine. I'm going to shoot it directly at the center target there. And we're going to see how the groupings look just straight out of the box. So let's take a look. Not bad. It's got a little bit to the left, but that could have been my trigger finger. Feels great. Recoil is very manageable. I mean, it's a 9mm. It's not like we're talking a 6.5 or anything out of a handgun. Yeah, look, it feels great. The stippling is very aggressive. I know that it's not going to leave my hand, and it feels really comfortable. The interchangeable grips, I put in the small because I have tiny hands, it fits like a glove. I absolutely love it. Let's try the older M&P 9 and see how that works. I have here the original M&P 9. It has an upgraded Apex trigger in it, which makes it a bit nicer to shoot. The factory trigger between the original M&P and the 2.0 is not much changed, but this will give us a difference in quality between the feel of the grip and how it handles recoil, if there is anything noticeable. One good thing is magazines are the same. The bad thing is you need a new holster because the 2.0 is just a bit slimmer. Anyway, let's put rounds down range, see how it looks. I actually could tell a difference between the 1.0 and the 2.0, mainly in the grip. I know it's a 9mm, it's not a huge round, but like I said, I have tiny hands, so I could actually feel it moving just a bit. With the 2.0, it was planted in my hand and it wasn't moving at all. But still, this is nitpicking stuff. It's not a huge difference, but it is definitely noticeable. Now we're going to really have fun. I'm going to do some reload checks with the 2.0, and we'll see how they work. All right, guys, before we get to the breakdown of these, I wanted to throw a shout out to our sponsors, Houston Outfitters. If you're in the Houston area, check these guys out. They're located at 6503 Maple Ridge Street, and they'll take good care of you. They have a great selection, and if they don't have anything in stock that you're looking for, they'll get it for you. And they are just a top-notch group of guys that I've had the pleasure of working with. So check out Houston Outfitters. The takedown of the 2.0 is exactly the same as the takedown of the old 1.0. You lock it back, you have the takedown release here, strike it out, and everything's the same way. Same thing with the old 1.0, strike it out, everything's good. Now there are some differences between the two. I mentioned that the 1.0 is a bit wider than the 2.0. So obviously parts aren't interchangeable, but there are a few other details that somebody might notice. For instance, the slide guide here up at the front versus the 1.0, it's much smaller on the 1.0 than the 2. It kind of makes things a bit more solid. Also, on the 2.0, they have added some additional reinforcement here up front. Gives it a little bit more weight up front. I mean, you got to really pay attention to notice it. And also, they reinforce the slide stop here. No longer will your slide go forward when you slam a magazine home. Some people might see that as a defect. I personally like it whenever I'm slamming the magazine in and the slide goes forward on its own. But that's personal preference. If I were to knock anything, it would be the trigger. The trigger between the 2.0 and the 1.0, they're the exact same. there's not a huge noticeably difference. Obviously, this one here has the Apex in, and it's a different trigger design, much nicer to shoot. To swap out the grips is the exact same from receiver to receiver. The only difference is that they changed the pin just a bit on the 2.0, and let me see if I can show you the difference here. The 1.0 seems to be a bit beefier than the 2.0 backstrap pin, and I don't know why the reason of the change, because this will fit in here just fine, and it actually makes the backstrap fit just a bit more snugly. Before it was moving just a little bit, not too terribly much. It's one of those nitpicky items, but if you own a 1.0 and you're upgrading to a 2.0, you might want to consider throwing your 1.0 backstrap pin in just for just a little bit added security. Other than that, the sights are the exact same, and there's really not a whole lot of difference except for the stippling. This one had some custom stipple work done on it, but this here is super aggressive. I know it's not going anywhere in my hand. There's no sliding, there's no slipping, nothing. It is actually a very, very nice job done by Smith & Wesson. I'm highly impressed by it. I'm definitely going to buy this. It's a great firearm. Obviously, there are some nitpicky things that need to be corrected, like the trigger and whatnot. But it's a great firearm, and it really boils down to your preference, whether you like the old 1.0 or the 2.0. I personally will prefer the 2.0 after carrying it around for the past month. I really love it. Also, today we took a look at these holsters here. These are made by Texas Concealment Systems, LLC. They were kind enough to mold me a 2.0 holster, and I gotta say, I absolutely love it. It's fantastic. Paired it with the mag pouch here, and it worked fantastically. It's comfortable. It doesn't get in the way. But like I said, if you have a 1.0, you need to buy a new holster, because the 2.0 is a bit thinner, so it won't quite fit snugly in your holster. Other than that, guys, I had a blast today. I loved the 2.0. I'm a big Smith & Wesson M&P fan to begin with, and I think that Smith did a great job in the few upgrades that they did with the 2.0, and I highly recommend them. If you guys got any questions, feel free to hit us up at Lone Star Gun Rights on Facebook, and I will be glad to answer any questions that you might have. Other than that, until next time, guys, this is Derek. I'm out.